It's morphin' time. Pterodactyl.
Hi there, this is Dutta with 3 Inches of Wrestling, bringing you the Wrestling Time post show. And for tonight, I will be reviewing AEW Dynamite and WWE Smackdown. But I'm joined by a very special guest. Please welcome. He is the host that runs the West Coast for Micah Chow TV 2.0. Hollywood, Michael Chow.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How you been, Michael?
I'm doing pretty good. I just want to say that according to WWE, like Xia Lee, I'm making my debut on your YouTube channel. So this is the first time I've ever been on here. So it's a true honor.
I know, right? Such an honor to have you.
Thank you so much. So if anyone recognizes me or if anyone watches any old video that was not me, like Xia Lee, I'm making my debut on your channel for the first time. And you'll have to ignore any other time you've seen me or anyone who looks like me, like Xia Lee. This is the first time I've ever been on your channel, ever.
Yes, it has. All right, but let's kick things off by talking about AEW Rampage, which kicked off with the TNT Champion match, Andrade versus Sammy Guevara. This match was a great match to start off with. I have to say the 2 Spanish flies that Sammy Guevara did to Andrade, amazing. But let's talk about that and towards the end. So as you recall, Matt Hardy did take the top turnbuckle off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So towards the end of this match, Andrade had his foot on the rope, and you can see Matt Hardy move his foot off the rope. So was that intentional or was that a botch?
I don't know, because the commentators seem confused. Because I don't know, it was weird. You couldn't tell whether or not he was making it obvious that he was taking the foot off the ropes or not. And Andrade never looked back at Matt Hardy, so it's almost as though he never, like, you would know if someone shoved your foot off the rope, right? But
Yes.
he never really kind of signified whether or not he did. I don't know. I think it was confused. I don't know what they were going for. I think they botched.
I think it was fun.
This is going to end up on Botchamania next week, I'm very sure. That person's YouTube channel. But yeah, other than that, this match was pretty good. I was kind of hoping it'd be at Revolution. It seems like a Revolution type match, but the way that the match ended, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring it back. A rematch. To be honest with you, I would have switched things around, and I totally agree with you. This match should have been a Revolution. It was a great match. Honestly, I really, really enjoyed it. But I definitely agree. This should have been the Revolution match, and we should have gotten the Tornado Trios match on Rampage or on Dynamite. Yes.
You know, this match screams Revolution. This match screams pay-per-view to me because it was a fantastic match.
There were so many triple threats going down at Revolution. I literally thought, like, a couple of weeks ago they were going to go for Sammy versus Andrade versus Darby. But I guess that's not the case. I mean, we still got time. Maybe that's the way that they are going. I don't know.
I guess we got to wait and see. I mean, next week is the go-home show, so we got to wait and see if they add any matches or if they don't.
That's true.
But overall, great way to start off off AEW Rampage, if you ask me. This was a fantastic way.
Yes.
All right, so then we had before we got into Wardlow versus Nick Camarado, we had QT Marshall, who wanted Hook to come out and say thank you to him. And that when he does eventually come out, QT Marshall sends his students, and Hook basically lays him out. And I really like Chris Jericho on commentary on this, that he says, who is that guy? You know, because he doesn't know who these guys are. They're QT Marshall students. So I thought Jericho on commentary really added to this segment. It was hilarious, his reactions. What were your thoughts?
It was pretty good, but to be completely honest, if you want to take out Hook, why send your students that you know they're going to get their asses kicked when you can send the factory? They make it sound like QT Marshall has no one else. And it makes it weird because, not to jump the gun, we know what the next match is going to be because we watched it. They could at least explain, oh, well, the reason why QT Marshall does on the factory is because they're getting ready for their match coming out next. But I don't know, it's weird. Why not attack Hook from behind? Why not attack him during a match? Why not beat up Taz? I don't know. Have the factory beat up Taz. You know, it's I don't know.
I mean, that's been done before. You know, in the past, Rivalries didn't Orton beat up John Cena's dad, didn't Edge punt John Cena's
Oh,
dad.
jeez.
So that's been done before. You know, I'm sure Taz wouldn't mind taking a bump for his son.
hmm And I just want to say that ever since Hook made his debut, I don't think he's even associated himself with Team Taz anymore, right? I don't think
No.
he's ever appeared with them since they've done that.
Yeah,
So,
no.
I don't know.
But it would be cool to see Taz get kidnapped.
Oh, shit. Oh, Lord. Don't WWE this up. Please don't. But yeah. To be completely honest, I think what they're headed, I think the end game with this is Hook versus Ricky Starks for the FTW title. And Taz is kind of torn. He's like, that is my son. But then again, this is my team. What side do I pick? So, yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing. Actually, I didn't even think about that. I would like that. Because then Taz would be torn between his boy and his son.
I don't think it's a coincidence that Hook has basically not been associated with Team Taz since this happened, because you want people to forget that he was kind of with Team Taz in a way, right?
Yeah.
Until one day Hook and Ricky Starks basically, collide with each other. So, yeah.
Exactly. So then we have Wardlow versus Nick Camarado. I have to say, this was for a battle. I guess you could say a battle of the giants. This was actually a pretty good match. This could have been a terrible encounter, but it actually wasn't. I actually like this. I counted 4 power bombs to Nick Camarado. I don't know if you have anything different, but I counted 4, and this was Wardlow was pretty much throwing Nick Camarado around. So impressive match between Wardlow and Nick Camarado. Of course, Wardlow ended up being victorious here, but at the end, Aaron Solo, Bailey's ex-boyfriend, jumped on Wardlow, and then Sean Spears hit him with the steel chair, and Wardlow obviously wasn't happy. Spears telling him that power bombs are not good, that they're not over. And he explains what getting over means. Honestly, I'm still waiting on
because Wardlow's an idiot.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for Wardlow to turn. You could tell they're slowly planting the seeds on Wardlow turning, and it's getting there, but they haven't pulled the trigger yet. Danny Stanton says, I can't wait to watch this one. Sounds good. It was good. He left a like. Thank you so much. All right. So what are your thoughts on this match and the segment that followed it with Aaron Solo and Sean Spears?
I got to become completely honest. Creatively, this was not a good move at all. Wardlow, they're pushing him quite, they're very high on Wardlow now. But to put him up against this opponent who was in a way was kind of going 50-50. This guy literally started out the match by giving, I think, Wardlow like what was it, a side power bomb or something, or a belly suplex. And then at one point, didn't he pick up Wardlow with one hand?
I think he did.
He did. This is not a good move where Wardlow is supposed to be this imposing big guy, and you're putting up against another guy who's basically at some point during the match tossing him around. You don't want that. You want
Michael 101591 says, I feel like they have nothing for Wardlow. Yeah, they pretty much don't until he turns.
I feel like, they need a big feud for him. I personally think it's going to be Gavin Spears. I would not be surprised if it's Wardlow versus Gavin Spears at Revolution.
You mean Sean Spears?
Oh, whoops. Sorry. I wouldn't surprise you if it's freaking Wardlow versus Ty Dillinger at Revolution. Okay. But he needs these big matches, and I guess they wanted to test to see if Wardlow can do good against bigger guys, but they really did him no favors in having his opponent kind of getting this type of offense against him. I know, was it Nick Camarado? Is that his name?
Yeah.
He's a big guy. At one point, they were trying to push him. At another point, they were trying to push Anthony Ogogo, but they need to be very, very careful. I mean, what was it? I think Hook's second match was against Bear Bronson. Was that him?
I think so.
Yeah, right? And then he's a big guy, but you didn't see him toss Hook around, right?
No.
So they did Wardlow no favors to see that he can possibly be beat. Like he can possibly, get tossed around by his opponent. So yeah, I thought the match was
so engaged.
What was that?
And where's Brian Cage?
Where is Brian Cage? Brian Cage would be a good opponent for Wardlow, but I think he's a babyface now. But, they did renew Brian Cage's contract. I don't know if that was going to be in your news. They only renewed it for 1 year, so they know... I don't know. We might not even see Brian Cage at all. There was one point where WWE extended Rey Mysterio's contract for 1 year only to use his merch. That's it. And he sat at home for 1 whole year. So we don't actually know if Brian Cage is actually returning to television, but they did confirm that they renewed his contract for 1 full year. Doesn't mean he's actually going to be on TV. I don't know what they're doing for him. Guy doesn't even wrestle on Dark Elevation. So I don't know. So yeah, that's my opinion. Creatively, it was the wrong move. Match itself. It was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
At one point, I was actually cheering for Nick Camarado when he was you gotta admit, when he was lifting Wardlow with one hand. Wardlow is like over 300 pounds, and Nick Camarado was lifting it with one hand. I was like, oh my gosh, I love Nick Camarado now. Screw Wardlow. And that's the type. No, that's not the reaction you want, right? Because you're pushing the other guy. So when Nick Camarado was lifting Wardlow with one hand in the air, I was like, oh, forget Wardlow. I'm now on Nick Camarado's side. So
yeah. Michael 1-on-1591 says, I can't remember the last time Cage was on TV. Yeah, me neither.
I can't remember it either. Was it? I think he either lost. It was like a blow-off match to Ricky Starks, or I think he lost to Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't know.
He lost. Wardlow looked thrilled when Spears hugged him. LOL. Yeah, he sure did.
Good acting.
All right. So then after that, we had the Professor's 5-minute challenge. It was Serena Deeb versus Kayla Sparks. And so they basically said that whoever is in this challenge doesn't need to win. They just need to go the full 5 minutes. Obviously, Kayla Sparks did not last the full 5 minutes. Serena Deeb won. This is probably going to be used to put someone over eventually. Like whoever beats this 5-minute challenge is probably going to end up, I guess you can say, with a push. Because that's the only way I see them doing this. Other than that, it's kind of pointless. Unless they're just using it to have a second match on like Dynamite or Rampage, like a second women's match, Mm-hmm. But what are your thoughts on this?
It's another put over Serena Deeb match. She's great. Can't believe WWE had her as just a PC trainer. She's going to encounter someone who is either they're making their debut, kind of like what you said, to give a huge push, or someone who's just very, very quick that she can't catch. I don't think it's going to be necessarily like, someone outlast the entire, 5 minutes? I think it's a matter of someone's just going to be so quick she can't even catch her. So, yeah. Yes.
So Michael 101-591 says it was an easy win for Deeb. Yeah, it definitely was an easy win. So after this, we had the contract signing, the first contract signing of Friday. We had another contract signing on a different show. But we'll get into that later. So it was a contract signing between Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D, and Thunder Rosa for their match at Revolution. And I have to say, I actually like Britt Baker's promo in this. She says that Thunder Rosa is only relevant because of her. That even though Thunder Rosa was the one who won their Lights Out match, Britt Baker was the one who everybody was talking about. She's the one who got the action figure. She's the one who got the shirt. And she says that Thunder thinks that the both solve all her problems and that it will validate her. And that while she was busy building the division, Thunder was just wrestling on YouTube. And then, of course, Thunder Rosa attacks her. And then Mercedes Martinez comes out to assist her after she was betrayed by Britt Baker and her team last week. Your thoughts on this segment?
I thought the words coming out of Britt Baker's mouth was good. But I think the problem I have with Britt Baker is there is really no enthusiasm in the promos that she gives. Like, I find it quite boring. I find the script, what she says is fine. Like, I like what she's saying, but I'm not thrilled. Like, I can't get invested.
You mean her delivery? Like
her delivery? Yeah, absolutely. Her delivery is not good. While you have people like The Rock, who they say is, incredibly good at promos, is because look at what he brings. You watch a promo. I guarantee you take a script or you take whatever Britt Baker says. You take all of those words, you give it to The Rock. The Rock will get you so invested. You will be so invested to have The Rock say what is coming out of Britt Baker's mouth. So the thing is, I find it quite boring because there's no enthusiasm in there. It's like you said, the delivery is not there. It's really not. So I like what she was saying, but I found this quite kind of boring. And did you mention the part where the brawl kind of, or are you going to talk about the brawl that ended up coming?
Yeah, I said that Thunder Rosa attacked her.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry. So yeah, so I got a question. All right, so Mercedes Martinez ends up coming out here, but then I'm a little bit confused because now they said that Britt Baker paid Mercedes Martinez. Like Britt Baker is essentially MJF, and Mercedes Martinez is essentially Wardlow. The reason why they're there is because they have a financer. MJF pays for Wardlow to be there, and they made it perfectly clear that Britt Baker paid for Mercedes Martinez to be there. So now it seems like Mercedes Martinez has turned against Britt Baker and her team. So why is she still there? I mean, have they actually said that Mercedes Martinez is all elites? Like, has Tony
I think
Khan?
they have. Yeah,
Have they?
She's all elite. Okay. Michael 101 saying contract signing was okay, and definitely it is you do have an interesting take that she did sound a little like unenthusiastic. Like everything she was saying was great. It's just her delivery that made it fall flat, right? But yeah, no, I definitely do agree with you on that. She does have that habit of she says good things. It's just the way she says them, you know? I guess it goes back to that saying that it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
You know, she's not an actor. All right. So there's some stuff I had to forgive. But I want to make it perfectly clear that, you know, someone who looks like me has been on your show because according to WWE, this is the first time I've debuted on your channel. Like Xia Lee, this is the first time I've been on your channel. However, someone who looks like me has been on your channel, and I gotta say that, you know, Britt Baker, she's not an actor. You know, we always talk about how WWE's product is always bad, right? So this is kind of proof that AEW, sometimes they don't deliver, and they didn't deliver here for me there. That's basically what I'm saying. All right, we're not AEW marks. Sometimes AEW does stuff that is not good. And sometimes WWE does stuff that's not good, but we call it as it is. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I definitely do agree. So in the main event was Orange Cassidy versus Anthony Bowens in the Face of the Revolution qualifying match. I had to say I was a little disappointed because I thought Orange Cassidy was going to drop some beats on us.
I thought so too.
He didn't. Yep. He did not. All he did was say, yo, and he said, word to your mother, which was funny. But I wanted to hear a full beat. Like, I wanted him to, like, rap. And, like, I thought that would have been funny.
I absolutely agree. If you remember, like, months ago, I think last year, he was in a debate with Chris Jericho, right? And Eric Bischoff, right? He was talking about, I believe, the ocean elevation. And the delivery on that was so good that if he can memorize all of that and say his debate on water elevation in the ocean, I don't see why he couldn't just memorize a quick freestyle. I gotta say the rap that was delivered or freestyle that was delivered by the Acclaim wasn't some of their best. It was a main event for Rampage. I'll say that there.
Danny says, you know, that was funny. Yeah, it was funny. It was
good.
Funny.
It was good, but I thought they could have done better. There.
Yeah, same, definitely. So, of course, okay, so what went down was that Wheeler Yuta, he grabbed Max Caster's leg. Of course, you know, Max Caster was going to get involved in this no matter what. Mm-hmm. You know, he gave Anthony Bowens the boombox, and of course, Anthony Bowens went with the full handful of trunks. That wasn't enough. Danhausen appeared and cursed Anthony Bowens, but in the end, Orange Cassidy was victorious. So, what are your thoughts on the match and Orange Cassidy winning?
It was fine. I wasn't expecting. I'm sorry. What was the member of the Acclaim that was in here?
Anthony Bowens.
I wasn't expecting him to go through. I wasn't expecting any members of the Acclaim to go through. It's fine. Danhausen, he's just there to curse people. I mean, the guy does wrestle. I don't know, but I know Danhausen's coming back from leg surgery, so I don't know if he's cleared to wrestle yet, or I don't know. But he just pops up. He curses people. I thought everyone who he curses loses, but that's not the case because Adam Cole beat, I think, was it Orange Cassidy on one of the matches? So I don't know.
Steve Callahan giving Rampage an 8 out of 10. What would you rate tonight's Rampage? 8 out of 10 and out of 5.
I gotta be completely honest. It wasn't one of the best Rampages. It
Rampage
was.
was a 7 out of 10. Michael 101.591 saying
Mm,
Rampage was a 7 out of 10. All right, give me 1 second. I open the door for my dog and you give your rating.
sure. I gotta be completely honest. I thought that Rampage this week was a 5 out of 10. I think that was okay. And I think that's fair because 5 out of 10 is just plain average. There were a lot of questionable decisions. That match with Wardlow and Nick Camarado, I don't agree with because Nick Camarado got way too much offense in. I personally did not like the contract signing because Britt Baker's delivery was not so good. I give it a 5 out of 10. And I think that's very fair.
No, you make excellent points. Michael 101.591 saying at least Rampage was better than SmackDown.
Rampage is better than Raw, SmackDown, NXT Level Up, combined main event, you name it.
For me personally, I really love the TNT Championship match.
Oh,
great match. Mm-hmm. I disappointed that Andrade lost, because I was rooting for Andrade, but fantastic match. I really like that. Wardlow versus Nick Camarado was decent. Orange Cassidy versus Anthony Bowens was decent. I just feel like that wasn't a main event match.
Mm-hmm.
That should have opened the show, I should say. I feel like if the order, if they would have switched the opening match and the final match, it probably would have been a much stronger show, at least in my opinion. So I'm gonna give Rampage at 4 out of 5 and a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's good. That's fair.
Yes. Michael 101.591 saying NXT Level Up. Who watches that?
I don't know. Is it out? I don't know when it comes out. I think no, I haven't watched it. By the way, I barely watch NXT. I have it playing in the background.
But...
no. Honestly, when I first heard that there was something called NXT Level Up, I thought seriously it'd be some type of video game related thing that they were doing. But NXT Level Up, it is essentially NXT Level Up is basically main event, but for NXT. That's it, basically.
Yeah. Steve Callahan saying level up, lame. All right. So now that we finished Rampage, let's talk about everyone's favorite wrestling show on Friday night. Friday night SmackDown.
Ooh, what a transition.
Yes. We'll have to update these overlays because they have my old logo on them. All right. So SmackDown opened up with Ronda Rousey talking about how after 4 months after giving birth, she wanted to come back and win the Royal Rumble. She said she wanted to be a role model for her daughter, kind of like how her own mother was to her. Then Michael Cole proceeds to list Ronda Rousey's accomplishments. Charlotte comes out, by the way. I loved her dress. I thought it was really, really cute. And she says that she showed Ronda mercy because she had one arm tied behind her back. And Charlotte says that she's going to make Ronda tap out. And then Sonya attacks Ronda, allowing Charlotte to take advantage of this distraction. And it seems like the seeds are being slowly planted for Sonya Deville to return to the ring because, as we found out, she will face Ronda Rousey next week. So overall, I thought this segment was kind of cringe. Not a great way to open up SmackDown. But it's typical WWE opening with somebody cutting a promo and then somebody getting interrupted. So aside from liking Charlotte's dress, there was nothing really that I liked about this promo from this opening segment. What about you?
I gotta be completely honest. I thought that this segment was a little bit slow. If it was sped up a little bit, I thought it'd be better. But I didn't think, honestly, it was that bad because Ronda Rousey's promo on Raw the day after the Royal Rumble was seriously bad. Like, this is a woman who's been in movies, people, and her delivery promo was not that good. I thought her promo this time was actually not bad. It was better. Is it still bad delivery? Yes. But I thought it was better. She seems to be now a babyface because before she was still a little bit pissed off at the fans for turning on her. So you can tell rumors are true. WWE had to talk for her and said, listen, you're the babyface. Got to be a little bit nicer. I do like what Charlotte and Sonya did, but like I said, it was a little bit slow. Like when Sonya went in there and basically like knocked her down on the knees, she kind of just stood there. It's like, dude, You got Ronda Rousey down. You should probably beat the ish out of her. You know what I mean? Because she will retaliate. So Charlotte, attacking the legs on the turnbuckle, I thought was pretty smart. They might try to play like a handicap, because if Ronda Rousey's walking into WrestleMania with an injured leg, that might actually go in Charlotte Flair's favor. So
didn't Ronda, correct me if I'm wrong, but during her original WWE one, didn't she like no-sell some injuries? Like I believe she got like power bombed onto some steel steps or something, and she just no-sold those. Like she didn't come out with any type of bandage around her ribs or something.
Yeah,
like that.
super Ronda. I don't know. They kept plugging. I know the commentators plugged the fact that she's had leg problems, and I think that goes back to the UFC. But yeah, well, they need to try and sell this as an even fight, which I don't know why, because Charlotte Flair is one of the most accomplished wrestlers in the WWE. Why they think that they need a handicap for Charlotte Flair to possibly win, I don't know. I think they're trying to do it where it's like Ronda Rousey has an injured leg, but she pulled through everything to pull out the big win at WrestleMania. They're really trying to shove it down our throats to go like, Ronda, despite an injured leg, was able to beat Charlotte Flair. Wow. Either that, or honestly, it happened to Asuka. So if they try to do it in a way where Ronda Rousey might actually lose at WrestleMania, they might sell it the same way they did with Asuka, where they go like, well, she aimed for the leg. It was injured going into the match. Ronda had no choice but to tap out. So we'll see.
Definitely. You make a lot of great points, Michael, and I could definitely see WWE doing that. But before we proceed, we got some comments. Michael 101591 saying SmackDown is not the favorite show out of everybody. No, that is not true.
Really?
My favorite show to review is Impact Wrestling. Hands down.
It's not Corey and Carmella?
No.
The show that's not even good enough to air on E, despite the fact having those crappy ass shows, Total Divas and Total Bellas?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I like Impact.
All right.
All right. Danny Stighton says Level Up sounds like a Dungeons and Dragons game. 101591. Jaw down. LOL. Awful segment. A 0 for me. He says they're feeding Cruella to the Bulls. I think he's talking about Ronda. I could be mistaken. Michael 101591 says Ronda doesn't care to be there. She's only there for the check.
Well, it's not like she's turning down acting roles to be here. So
that's true. That's true. So next we get Los Lotharios versus the New Day, which I didn't mind. It wasn't a terrible match. That was a decent match. Big E and Kofi Kingston getting their win back, because last time we had this match, Los Lotharios ended up beating them.
And who won the last time they did that?
Los Lotharios.
No, but the one before that. See, I'm insinuating they've had this match multiple times in continuous weeks.
Let me see. Let me check my notes. No, last week we had this on the 11th, February 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Los Lotharios ended up winning, and then before that, yeah, you're right. We had it the previous week. After that, it was the New Day. We had it on February 4th.
Oh no, not New Day. Remember, it's Kofi Kingston, Big E.
Kofi Kingston and Big E. Yeah.
For whatever reason, they don't like calling them New Day. Even though it's in their Titantron and commentators call them New Day, they distinctly call them Big E and Kofi Kingston.
Michael 101591 says 3 times this match happened. New Day wanted to be Steve Austin writing out on the ATV. Come on, really, Cruella DeVille. Have you seen 101 Dalmatians? Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. Now I get your reference. Sorry. But I guess the one thing I did like was that ATV part where he distracted Angel Garza with it, and then in the backstage segment we get Sheamus and Ridge Holland talking to them about needing the ATV to carry themselves out of that match, to carry themselves out. So thoughts on that?
No comment.
Yikes. No comment, eh?
Jeez.
Oh, I don't think we have anything to say about that.
Sorry. You know, that's Kayla you don't watch, but Ridge Holland was actually quite good in NXT. I actually liked him. I mean, I think he could have potentially been the next Brock Lesnar. He's a big guy. He was good in the ring. But yikes, what they're doing with Ridge Holland. Holy moly.
You know, since I've tortured you so much on my show, making you watch SmackDown and Raw. Actually, no, I don't think you've done Raw with me. But I've tortured you enough. I think I'm gonna torture myself by watching NXT one of these days, and I'll do a review on your channel when you relaunch it.
We've talked about this. We said that one day,
Yeah.
1 week, you'll watch NXT and I'll watch Impact, and we'll do a review because I think that's good because I haven't watched Impact in a long. This is how long it's been since I've watched Impact. All right, they had a 4-sided ring, so that was a long.
They still have a 4-sided ring.
I know, but the last time they had a 4-sided ring before they went to the 6 and then came back, it was it was a long time ago, guys. So yeah, well, we will do that one day. You'll watch NXT. I'll watch Impact.
The torture. I'm gonna know how you feel.
We'll review shows that we know nothing about. So yeah,
that's gonna be fun. That should be a lot of fun. So after that, we had Xia Lee's big in-ring debut against Nattie. But I question why Drew Gulak, why Shayna Baszler, and why Aaliyah were backstage watching this debut. This wasn't a how can I say this? I don't want to say it was a bad match, but it wasn't a great match either. Xia Lee was impressive. You know, granted, I've seen many impressive debuts. But, you know, I really like that spinning heel kick that she did. And, of course, Xia Lee ended up victorious. What are your thoughts on this, Michael?
Okay, we said that we were going to talk about this. So, the match, honestly, the match itself, for it being Xia Lee's first ever match ever in the history of WWE, was okay. It was fine. As a debut match, it was fine. It got some time. The right person won. I like the fact that they gave Xia Lee, I think, Aleister Black's Black Mass now. The move fits her very, very well. But bear in mind, that was the same move that concussed Mercedes Martinez. And sadly, she got fired from NXT, like, I think a couple weeks after that. So, yeesh. But, so, here. WWE has gone on. So, before her match, she has an interview with Megan Morant. And she says that, what do you think, Xia Lee? This is the first. What do you think that this is going to be your first match in WWE? Now, I thought Megan Morant, she's new. All right, she's a new interviewer. I thought she made a mistake. All right, Xia Lee verbally says next, I worked really hard in NXT. She confirms the fact she's been here already, right? But WWE says, no, you stupid idiots. This is the first time Xia Lee's ever been here. This is her first match ever. And we need you to ignore the fact that she's been in NXT, even though she literally just said about it in the interview. And we need you to ignore the fact that she's been in 2 Royal Rumbles as well. So if you don't watch NXT, because no one watches NXT according to Vince, we also assume you don't watch the Royal Rumbles too, because Xia Lee has never been in there as well. So it's, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. WWE thinks we're all idiots, and we are because we still watch it. I'm an idiot, so there you go.
Yeah.
But that's another WWE MIB moment. We've gotten flashed to forget the fact that Xia Lee has never been in NXT, even though she literally confirmed in the interview that she was there and that she's never been in the Royal Rumble. And this is their first time ever in WWE to have a match. Now, the match itself, like I said, for it being the first time she's ever wrestled a match in WWE ever, I thought it was okay. I like the fact that they gave her Aleister Black's Black Mass. It fits her very, very well. She has to be careful she doesn't concuss anyone else like she did in Mercedes Martinez. But other than that, at least she's back. Because like Veer, she's disappeared. She's come back. She's disappeared. She's come back. You mentioned before that before the match, they were trying to make it a big deal because even the likes of Drew Gulak and, oh my gosh, she was Shayna Baszler, the biggest badass ever, all of a sudden is interested in this match. And the funny thing is they never referred back to it, right? Am I wrong? Like after she won, did it go backstage and everyone was like, nope. Whoa, wow, right? Nope.
No.
Okay, there you go.
So Danny Stanton saying that's what Cornette calls her. I haven't watched Impact since Kurt was on it. It was me.
That's the reason why I watch Impact, because they went to a 4-sided ring and Kurt Angle was on the show, but it wasn't for me. So yeah.
All right. So the next thing, we had Sami Zayn's Intercontinental title celebration. He says that justice is finally served. However, the setup wasn't what he asked for. He's happy to give Nakamura a rematch, but he's not available because he's still dealing with the knee damage that Sami Zayn gave him.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but one thing we didn't mention is there was a commercial for a Toyota car. And I only heard about it because I'm sorry, I was in my kitchen cooking food. But did it at least show Shinsuke Nakamura with some kayfabe injury on his leg? No. All right, so there you go. Some more continuity that they will ignore. But yeah, go ahead.
So he said he would defend against any challenger. And of
Mhm.
course, Knoxville challenges Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn beats him down. He gives him 2 haluva kicks.
Mhm.
And then he goes backstage, and Ricochet is going to challenge for the title next week.
Cool.
So before I continue and before I read the comments, what I see this going is it's probably going to be Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania.
Mhm.
I don't know if Johnny Knoxville will win. He probably would, knowing Vince McMahon, because that'll be great publicity. But I'm really excited to see Ricochet versus Sami Zayn, even though I think Sami Zayn's probably going to win that match. Should be a fantastic match. Your thoughts?
I totally agree. It should be a really, really good match. I thought the segment was actually pretty good. I mean, we literally talked about how Britt Baker has no delivery. Sami Zayn has great delivery. You see this? So it's why they re-signed him to a contract. It's why he wants to stay. He's getting tons of screen time. I really think there's a missed opportunity. I really wanted them to do something with Brock Lesnar and Sami Zayn because I thought they had great chemistry together. Too bad. But listen, it's like you said, Vince McMahon, he loves these big celebrity matches. I don't know what they're doing with that Logan Paul thing, but I hear he's going to be involved with WrestleMania as well. So it should be good. I like Johnny Knoxville in this. The first haluva kick didn't connect, but the second one definitely did. It was good. It's really, really good. These jackass guys are known for taking huge abuse to their bodies. I remember a long, long time ago where some of the jackass stars was in the ring with Umaga. So they did really good in that segment. I think Johnny Knoxville should do pretty good here. What they should do is they should make this a no DQ match because Johnny Knoxville being in Jackass, I think he would do quite well.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think Johnny Knoxville can work a DQ match.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think he could. Definitely. But when we talk about Cesaro at the end of this show, I definitely would have more to say about Sami Zayn and about Kevin Owens too. But that's when we talk about Cesaro's news. So Michael 101591 saying Sami Zayn stole that suit that he was wearing out of Seth Rollins' closet.
Yes.
New IC champion at WrestleMania, Johnny Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Callahan saying it would be lame. WrestleMania is looking like crap. I hate to say it, but yes.
WWE has always ruined the builds towards WrestleMania every single year for the last couple of years. It's unsurprising.
No, and you're absolutely right. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair had one of the most horrendous builds to WrestleMania, but it ended up being the most amazing match on night one. Like, night one was definitely stronger than night two last year, WrestleMania.
There's no doubt in my mind that WrestleMania matches are good. They're very, very good. The build is just absolute shit. Sorry for cursing on your channel.
It's okay.
It is what it is. The writing isn't what it used to be. Steve Callahan said that it's going to be lame. Honestly, they have, 4 weeks until WrestleMania?
36 days.
36. It's going to be stupendous. But within those 36 days, I don't think Johnny Knoxville is doing any movies right now. I think he's done promoting Jackass. So if they can get him into the Performance Center, they're making a no DQ match, I think he could potentially do quite good. Because this is a guy who basically gets injured for a living. So for the next 36 days, if he puts in work at the Performance Center, I think Johnny Knoxville could potentially put on a good match.
They're saying this WrestleMania is the most stupendous WrestleMania, more like the most predictable WrestleMania ever. Mm-hmm. That is so true. Very predictable. Danny Stanton saying, really. Yeah, you're gonna help me review one of the nights of WrestleMania. You haven't one, but you're gonna help me. This should be interesting. I know you're only gonna do one. Mm-hmm. So if you choose to do night two, you should definitely watch both nights, and then we can compare and contrast.
It's a tough struggle. I mean, night two has, according to WWE, the best WrestleMania match ever, which makes next year's match with The Rock and Roman Reigns look like absolute shit. So I don't know. I thought Edge versus Randy Orton at Backlash was the best match ever, but apparently
that was the greatest match ever.
Greatest match. Greatest match. Forget the other two WrestleMania matches with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. This match right here is the best one ever, baby. So I don't know which night I'm gonna pick to review with you. So it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, definitely let me know. All right, so then we had Sasha Banks versus Shotzi. First of all, where has Shotzi been? I think this is her first appearance on SmackDown this year. Mm-hmm. This was pretty much, Banks tried to go for the Three Amigos. She couldn't successfully put it off. I don't want to say it was a squash match, but it was a short match. Sasha Banks ended up being victorious. Naomi was on ringside on commentary watching this match. I thought that Naomi was going to challenge Sasha Banks to a match, but no, instead we're going to get a reuniting of Beautiful and Dangerous as Naomi's teaming up with Sasha Banks and they're going to challenge for the women's tag titles. Your thoughts on the match in this segment overall?
I thought the match was okay. Let's face it, we knew Sasha was going to win. Big props for her for wearing her Royal Rumble Sailor Moon outfit. I got to point out something. So, I thought that they were going to set up the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale. I thought Naomi was going to come out here and said, hey, I'm coming out here to say I'm entering the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale. And Sasha Banks says, well, I'm going to enter it too because I'm the boss, right? Out of nowhere. This is how very bad their creative writing is. They go, we are now a random tag team. And I totally forgot that they were in Team Bad. So whether they reference that or not, I have no idea. No, they won't, right? The worst part in this, right, is verbally, Naomi says, we are going after the tag team championship. Now, even though this came out of the blue, Datila, did you understand what was going on?
No,
really. Naomi verbally says, we're going after the tag team championships.
Yeah.
You understand that part, right?
I get what she's talking about. Yeah.
Perfect, right? Because she verbally says it, right? Okay. Literally in the next scene, we have poor Megan Morant, the interviewer, and she goes, gee, I don't know what Naomi was referring to. Jesus, it's
because what she's probably doesn't know what she's referring to is because, correct me if I'm mistaken, but the tag team titles were supposed to be defended at anywhere, but yet they haven't been defended on SmackDown. So she probably doesn't even know there's tag team titles.
Exactly. She's like, what are you talking about? Tag team championships is on NXT. What are you talking about? What?
Raw. They're on Raw too. What are you talking about? They're not on SmackDown.
What? Okay.
So next, we were supposed to have Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin, but that ended up not happening because he talked Madcap Moss into doing the match. Props though, Madcap Moss having a scary spot at the Elimination Chamber landing on his neck. Luckily for him, he was not injured. Of course, I have to say, Madcap Moss is not a bad wrestler. He's not a bad wrestler. It's just his gimmick just does not work for him. It really does not. Tell me who won this match.
It was Drew McIntyre, right?
Drew McIntyre? Okay, so then I wrote the winner wrong.
This is how forgettable this episode of SmackDown was. Yeah, I believe he gave. Okay, it was weird because I think there was a botch at the end because Madcap Moss ran back and forth from the ropes, and I think Drew McIntyre had bad timing because I think Madcap Moss was supposed to run at the ropes and he was supposed to run into the Claymore. But what happened was I think Drew McIntyre, there was bad timing. Madcap Moss was running back and forth between the ropes like 3 times and nothing was happening. And I was like, what is going on here? Then he got hit with the Claymore. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Madcap Moss, he's greatly improved since where he was. I mean, he used to be in NXT. He was in a tag team with, I forget who he is. Chat room, if you guys remember who he was in a tag team with, I forget.
I don't watch NXT, so I can't.
You don't watch it, but this happened a long time ago. This guy, I forget. He's Mandy Rose's ex-boyfriend.
Oh, is it Tino Sabatelli?
Yeah, Tino Sabatelli, the guy who got fired from NXT, went to AEW, got fired there, then went back to NXT and got fired again. So yeah, so he's greatly improved since being with Tina Sabatelli, and then he was with Mojo Rawley as his linebacker. And then he was the 24/7 guy. And then I think he did some stuff with Rob Gronkowski. And yeah, he's a big guy, so I can see why Vince loves him. But yeah, he's not so bad. He's good in the ring. He is okay on the mic. I mean, because guys, remember, the jokes are supposed to be bad. All right, the jokes are supposed to be bad.
The gimmick, like, because yes. I have a hard time before I continue. Says Danny said, I don't watch NXT either, so I have a hard time understanding his gimmick. Is his gimmick supposed to be that he thinks he's funny, but he's really not funny, or is his gimmick supposed to be that he's funny?
It's so. The storyline, I believe, was that Happy Corbin has so much money, he pays Madcap Moss to make him laugh. I think that's the gimmick. I think that's the storyline. But the thing is, I'm a little bit confused because I see him come out in these shorts and these. I don't know what this is supposed to be.
Suspenders?
Yeah, suspenders. I don't know what that look is supposed to be. Is he supposed to be like a clown? I don't know what that is. I don't know. They're pushing this fact that Baron Corbin's undefeated since he became Happy Corbin, so we'll see.
And I was there when he became Happy Corbin. Remind you, I went to SummerSlam last year.
That's right. That's a huge missed opportunity. A lot of people hated it, but I actually like poor Corbin. I actually thought it was a good storyline. People can ish on Baron Corbin, honestly, but he's very good with his promos. Give him anything. They literally said, hey, you have a receding hairline. Your hair is turning white. We want you to grow it out and act poor. For a guy who has no...
I would have... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You know what I have liked at SummerSlam that they would have done with Baron Corbin, and this is just me. I would have liked for them to do a whole skit, and I said this last year, and I'll say it again. I would have liked, you know how he was supposed to fight Big E, right? And he did. Yeah. Instead of fighting Big E, I would have liked for them to have Big E go out there, but have him win because Baron Corbin couldn't come out. And the reason why he couldn't is because he was so broke, he couldn't afford a plane ride to Las Vegas. So he had to hitchhike to Las Vegas. And, by the time he got to the arena, the whole show was over. I would have loved for that to have happened.
That would have been good. I think he really had a big missed opportunity of like Baron Corbin doing like just random stuff just to get money. Like if they go out here and say, oh, we need Brock Lesnar to sign this contract and I don't want to get beat up, so I'll pay you money to bring this contract out to Brock Lesnar and do all of these other, funny gimmicks too.
Like I wanted to see Baron Corbin with the sign that says hitchhiking to Las Vegas.
There you go. That would have been good.
It's always such a missed opportunity. I'm going to try to go to Money in the Bank. I don't know why. I mean, I'm just in it for the trip.
Sure.
Just in it for the trip. So then the ending segment was the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns contract signing for their greatest match at WrestleMania.
Whoa!
Of course, Roman asking Hershey, Pennsylvania to acknowledge him. Before I go any further, do you acknowledge Roman Reigns as the head of the table and the tribal chief?
Yeah. I'd like to acknowledge Roman Reigns for another year when Dwayne takes the title off him. So I acknowledge Roman Reigns while I still can. Hey, give him a break. He's going to lose. He's going to lose. So
Paul Heyman saying that this match is bigger than Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan.
They did not like that. The fans booed that pretty bad. I didn't know that there were so many Hogan. Despite the fact you guys hate him because he's a racist, I didn't know that there were so many Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant fans. But yeah, continue.
Bigger than The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Ooh.
Bigger than Brock Lesnar conquering the Undertaker's undefeated streak. So
okay.
Brock Lesnar comes out, Cowboy Brock Lesnar, Farmer Brock Lesnar. I don't know what his gimmick is. He calls it Mr. Acknowledgement, and he introduces himself. And Brock Lesnar should introduce himself more often. He does a really good job at introducing himself as the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE champion.
Very nice.
And he says, the skid mark security guards aren't going to stop him. And that's true. I mean, did you see those security guards? There's no way they were going to stop Brock Lesnar.
I know. It would be really stupid if they were, I don't know, maybe working for one of the people in this ring after some guy just said, I would beat the ish out of all of these security guards. So if they all work for you, it wouldn't matter. So, but I don't know that.
Lesnar saying that the only thing stopping him is himself and the contract. Then he threw the contract to Roman Reigns, and Heyman says that Lesnar will lose the title at Madison Square Garden. I don't know why they're plugging that. Is there something going on March 5th? Is it just a live show?
I think it's just a live show. But, they say Madison Square Garden is like WWE. It's like the biggest home. So they try to make it a big show. I don't think it's going to air, though. But, yeah.
They're just... Okay. And then Roman says that he's going to smash him. And he says that that's his show. And we all know how SmackDown ends. Contract signings always end horribly in the WWE, with Brock Lesnar beating up the security guards. Of course, who can see that coming? And that pretty much closes SmackDown. So overall, what would you rate tonight's SmackDown?
I thought that it wasn't the worst SmackDown. It wasn't a great SmackDown. I acknowledge it that it has issues. I give it, honestly, out of a 10, 4 out of 10. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't okay. It had issues. I mean,
Yeah.
like yikes. The whole Xia Lee thing, the whole Sasha Banks and Naomi are now a random tag team, and they didn't acknowledge Team Bad, and the ending was very, very predictable. I will say this though, I liked Roman Reigns' delivery on the promo. I really did. So very good.
Yes, definitely. I like the Lotharios versus New Day, even though we've seen it. I didn't think it was a bad match.
Mm-hmm.
I did like Xia Lee's debut. I didn't particularly like the match, but she herself wasn't bad. Sami Zayn's celebration wasn't bad either. The contract signing wasn't bad, but it was predictable. Naomi and Sasha Banks forming a tag team out of nowhere. That just came out of nowhere. I didn't see anything with that. We really didn't see Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss again. It wasn't a bad SmackDown, but it wasn't a great SmackDown. I'm going to be generous, and I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
And a 5 out of 10. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. There is some stuff that was okay, and there was some stuff that was just not okay. But overall, what was a better show, SmackDown or Rampage?
Well, based off the scores I gave, I suppose Rampage. But if I can be completely honest, they were both kind of. I think my score is actually quite fair because I've given Rampage like 1 point more than SmackDown, so I would have to give it to Rampage. There was some questionable stuff on there, but Rampage.
SmackDown sucked again.
Yeah, well, SmackDown was SmackDown. If that makes sense at all. SmackDown was SmackDown. It didn't blow me away. I didn't come into this saying, hey, Taylor, did you watch SmackDown this week? Wow, it was actually pretty good. But
yeah, I didn't come into that saying that either. That's for sure. I was texting you during SmackDown, actually.
Yep.
But no, definitely I'd say better show of the night for Rampage. And that's not us being biased towards AEW, and it's not us being hated, having hatred for WWE. It's just us keeping it real. If Rampage would not have been as strong, I would have said, you know what, it's a tie. Both shows were good, both shows were bad. Neither show was stronger than the other. I would have, it's both. I want the viewers to understand that it's not us being biased towards AEW, and it's not us bashing WWE. It's just we felt Rampage was a bit stronger than SmackDown. Had it been the other way, we would have said SmackDown was stronger than Rampage. Had Rampage been weak, we would have said, you know what, both shows were weak. It's a tie. Neither show was good. I just want the viewers listening to understand that. I don't want them to think that we're bashing WWE.
Normally, we actually rate AEW quite high over WWE, but I think both shows had their issues tonight. So both shows were just okay, but they're on the road to their respected shows. Like AEW is headed toward Revolution. WWE's headed toward WrestleMania. They really need to pick it up. You know,
Steve Callahan saying good review. Thank you. Yeah, if it was Dynamite competing against SmackDown, Dynamite would win hands down. Yeah, I would say that. All right, so now we're getting to something that Michael Chow used to call Total News back in the day.
Yay!
Total News, yay! We're going to talk about stuff that's been going on in the wrestling world. Alrighty then. So, Michael, let's start with the I guess you could say the biggest talking point of the day, Cesaro leaving WWE, and it was reported by Fightful that he had left WWE. Let me pull up the article on here. So, Wrestle Inc. says has backstage news and notes on Sasha's WWE departure. It says Cesaro reportedly left WWE on good terms. As noted earlier today, it was revealed that Cesaro has quietly exited WWE after two sides were in contract negotiations and unable to come to an agreement on a new deal. Cesaro's contract ended up expiring, so he is now a free agent and is able to work with anyone he wants. Give me a second.
Sure.
Sorry about that. So it says, in an update, Fightful Select reports that an immediate reaction to the departure from people within WWE was disappointment and dismay, as Cesaro was one of the most universally liked talents on the roster. It was as far back as October when Cesaro began talking to some of his coworkers about possibly leaving the WWE when his deal came up in February. Telling them he wasn't sure if he'd be hanging around, sources noted that Cesaro didn't necessarily provide a reason for leaving when saying his goodbyes to some, but others indicate reasonable disappointment on his part with how he was used, things he was left out of, and spots he didn't get to fill. There were WWE sources that spoke highly of Cesaro's professionalism in handling his last match, the February 11th Smackdown loss to Happy Corbin, and how he finished up with the company. Cesaro's departure is not a case of WWE not wanting him there. He was reportedly offered a new contract, but WWE sources say it was rejected. It's also said that there's still a real possibility that Cesaro ends up re-signing with WWE until he signs with somebody else. Numerous sources within WWE report that the departure does not appear to be a door completely closed situation and that Cesaro did not burn his bridge. And we noted earlier how Cesaro was originally scheduled to be at today's Friday Night Smackdown. So what are your thoughts and opinions on Cesaro leaving?
When I heard the news, I was not shocked at all. Like, this is a guy who's filled with huge amounts of talents, and nowadays, when you're not happy, you simply just leave. That's how it is. The good thing is he left on good terms with the company. He could potentially come back. I think I talked with you about this. You know, the same thing happened to Drew Gulak, I believe, last year, the year before that, right? He couldn't come to terms on a new contract, so he had actually left. And then what happened was he re-entered negotiation contracts, and they rehired him in a month. So Cesaro might actually come back, but he feels like he's not being valued. So two things can come about when you're renegotiating your contract. You either give him a lot of money or you can promise him good storylines. And it doesn't look like he got either of those. You know what I mean? I read the same article. I don't think it's the same exact one, but I read an article that had reported on it. And they said that that within the last year, that Cesaro only appeared in 5 matches. The entire year, 365 days, he only appeared in 5 matches. And guess what? He lost all 5 matches. This is a different, Cesaro than when we saw him actually challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
I was like, he's finally going somewhere, right? But then he went from that to simply just barely appearing on TV. He obviously didn't get enough money, which he thought that, okay, well, if I get this amount of money, I don't care that I'm not on TV. Either give him a lot of money so he doesn't care he's not on TV, or give him more to do. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn recently re-signed. We all thought that they were both leaving, right? But now Kevin Owens is rumored to have a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. He's appearing more on TV. Sami Zayn, this is the most I've seen Sami Zayn on TV. And he's mixing it up with Brock Lesnar. He's now the Intercontinental Champion. So he's getting more stuff to work with. But in Cesaro's case, it doesn't look like he got enough money, or he didn't get enough promises that he's going to be used more. I talked to you when I said, when it comes down to it, I say give Cesaro whatever he wants, the amount, money, and make him like a part-time wrestler, and then make him a trainer at the PC, kind of like QT Marshall. Because Cesaro is so talented, he should be a trainer. If he's not going to appear on TV a lot, I mean, if he only appeared 5 times last year and he lost all matches, have him be a trainer at the PC Center, So it's sad to see him leave, but there are tons. He did it on good terms. He could potentially come back. There are tons of doors opening. I mentioned to you, maybe he might go back to Ring of Honor during the relaunch. He might go to Impact, and Impact has had a reputation of taking former talent and giving them world championships. So we always wanted Cesaro to be world champion, and in Impact, they can make that happen. So
yes. definitely. So my take on this, and this is just pure speculation on my part, okay? Just pure speculation. I think it came down to one of three things: money, creative, or both.
Yes.
And it seemed to me, because I read some articles that said that Cesaro did not want, it wasn't a case of him wanting to leave. It seemed like he was willing to stay no matter what they gave him. So I think maybe, again, this is just me speculating. It's probably has to do with money. I mean, there were reports saying that AJ Styles just got renewed his contract. I think that was reported. Hold on, let me double check. It was reported because this ties into Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
So Wrestling News Co says AJ Styles signed a big money contract with the WWE. Fightful Select reported that he had signed a multi-year deal that's worth over $3 million. And also Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn also signed big money contracts. So maybe Cesaro saw that and he was like, well, I don't care what plans the WWE has for me. I just want a big money contract. But he probably felt that they were lowballing him, so to speak, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he probably saw like, whoa, like how come they got this money and I didn't? You get me?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he was telling people since October that he might leave was probably him just like, you know what? I'm just tired. Obviously, I have a glass ceiling here. Maybe, but despite that, maybe he was willing to stay, but they just weren't willing to give him the money. What about? Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You also have to think about in the fact, like, even if I get the big money contract, what is the chances that they're going to keep me? WWE has been notorious for saying that, okay, well, we'll give you $3 million, right? And then they release you in a year, and you don't get all the money that you're promised. You know,
Danny Staten says, all I can say is wow.
Exactly. You know, it's what is Cesaro's worth? As fans, we think he's worth a lot. To WWE, it might not be the case. You know, he only appeared on television last year 5 times. That's how much that WWE thinks he's worth. You know, and the thing is, with NXT, whether you watch it or not, it is essentially the place where they're trying to build new stars, and they're basically going like, you know, if not Cesaro, he's easily replaceable. You know, they've done that type of thing where they like, well, why do we need to pay Nia Jax this amount of money when
we have Doudrop?
When we have Doudrop, absolutely, right? Why do we need Braun Strowman, who, from what I heard, was making 6 figures? Well, not 6 or 7 figures. So he was making somewhere in the millions, right? Why keep Braun Strowman when we have Omos? And if you've seen Omos, they made a huge mistake. All right, they're probably regretting it right now. Omos, it's just as bad as the Great Khali. I would not be surprised if Braun Strowman comes back, because they made a huge mistake thinking that they could replace Braun Strowman with Omos. But this is their mindset. They think that we can replace these superstars with people who can do the same amount of
for less
work. Exactly. So so they're like, what's special about Cesaro? Because we could just, why can't someone else? Why can't Chad Gable or why can't Drew Gulak do what Cesaro does for less money?
Yeah.
You know. So,
and one last thing about Cesaro is between him, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn never really disappeared from TV. They were always on TV doing something. Whether it was wrestling, whether it was just a talking segment, they were never really sitting in the back and catering. Cesaro would disappear sometimes from TV, you know?
Absolutely.
But they never did.
This is going to sound a little bit mean towards Cesaro, because you really have to think in the fact that, listen, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they're big stars, right? If they were to leave and they said, guess what? Tony Khan makes this huge announcement. They've just signed Kevin Steen and El Generico, and they're coming to AEW, right? Mm-hmm. I would tune in, because I'm like, I love these guys, and I'm going to tune into AEW or Impact. If they said, guess what? Kevin Steen and El Generico are going to Impact, right? I'm going to tune into Impact to see what it's like. But the sad thing about that is, if they say that, you know, Claude is going to Impact or AEW, you know, I watch AEW now, so of course I'll tune in. But if they said that Cesaro was going to Impact, I don't know if that's the type of superstar that would make me watch Impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he has that star power, which is really, really sad, because I really like Cesaro.
Wow. Okay. So we talked about that. We also talked about AJ Styles. We talked about it kind of briefly, but we talked about it. So another announcement that was made today was there's going to be a live event announcement on Being the Elite, which on the February 28th edition might take. They're finally going to announce a West Coast tour. Double or Nothing is coming back to Las Vegas, and guess who's going to try to go?
Wow. You?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Danny Stanton saying, "Kay, the sad truth, Cesaro has no personality and no skills on the mic."
Oh yeah, it's true.
So I think that live event announcement on Being the Elite is a California tour. Finally.
Oh,
Michael,
finally.
Would you go if AEW comes to your town?
I would go. I would. I already talked to my brother. I was like, "Hey, would you go?" He said no. So I'm on my own. I'm going to AEW alone, baby. But it's totally
you got to come through for WrestleMania next year.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's WWE. I'm sorry. So,
but it's WrestleMania.
I know, but if AEW says, "Hey, we're pulling through to LA next year for Revolution or All In," I'll be like, "Okay, maybe you sparked my interest," but I don't know. It's WWE. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to try to go to WrestleMania next year. That's for sure. So also today, Tony Khan said that he's going to make a huge announcement on March 2nd Dynamite. That he revealed today on Busted Open Radio.
Ooh, Cesaro's All Elite. You heard it first.
No, he says it has nothing to do with the talent.
Oh.
Steve Callahan saying, "Peace. Thanks for stopping by, Steve." It has nothing to do with talent. My guess, and this is just pure speculation on my part, okay? This is just me throwing stuff out there. I think it might be a super show. Because, and the reason why I say that, well, you don't watch Impact, so you probably don't know what's going on Impact. But let me give you the lowdown, okay?
Please do.
Okay, so on Impact, they have the Bullet Club, Jay White.
Okay.
And at No Surrender, he turned on God, the Gorillas of Destiny. Okay. And he basically formed a new version of the Bullet Club that includes himself, Chris Bay, and the Good Brothers. And we know that Jay White also appeared on Dynamite. So with all that, coming to fruition, and, Brandy Rhodes a couple weeks ago name dropping Josh Alexander and Chris Jericho on Dynamite dropping Eddie Edwards' name, I would think that that's kind of a sign that maybe they're doing like a AEW Impact New Japan type of show. You get me?
Okay.
That's what I think. That's just my speculation. But what do you think the big announcement is if it's not about a talent signing?
I really didn't know what it was because Tony gave a hint saying that he was under a non-disclosure. He wasn't allowed to talk about it to a certain date. So that kind of threw me off. I thought that Tony Khan was going to, this is before I read about that news. I thought that Tony Khan was going to announce that they were going to do because they're hiring so many people, literally just hired Keith Lee, Buddy Murphy, a whole bunch of people, right? So I thought Tony Khan was going to announce that Rampage is going to be 2 hours now, and they're doing a brand split. That's what I thought. But the fact that Tony Khan said that he was under a non-disclosure, that wouldn't make sense at all. But what you're saying right now, that does make sense. That wouldn't make sense if he was in talks with Impact and with New Japan, and he wasn't allowed to talk about the news until a certain time. But that'd be really, really good. I would love to see a AEW versus Impact versus New Japan Super Show. I mean, they can't call it Invasion because that name is taken, but they can't call it Bragging Rights. Can't call it the Survivor Series, but I think that would be a really, really good storyline to tell, and I don't think that they would mess it up like WWE did with Invasion. So I would love to see it. I would love to see them announce AEW versus Impact versus New Japan. That'd be great.
Yeah, so I think it's a super show. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not. But I could also be partially right, meaning it could be a super show, but it may only be AEW New Japan, excluding Impact. So we'll see. I'm hoping if it is a super show, it's all three. But hey, I'm not the one who decides stuff.
I also want to throw out there Ring of Honor too, because they released everyone. They're relaunching soon. Don't be surprised if Ring of Honor and AEW do something together. So that'd be really cool. So
yeah, Dave Meltzer confirming on Twitter that tonight's SmackDown was surprisingly a sold-out show. Your thoughts on that?
What?
That was my exact reaction.
Ooh, wow, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Okay.
I guess that Lesnar Roman Reigns contract signing must have did it.
Wow. Well, Roman Reigns did say he runs the show. Maybe Roman bought all the tickets. So there you go.
I was surprised when that happened.
Hey, tonight had the debut of Xia Lee, first ever match. You know she puts fans in the seats. So they're like, oh, Xia Lee, first match ever. Well, we're buying tickets. So there you go.
And then the last piece of news, Corey Graves confirmed he is cleared to wrestle, which was initially reported by Fightful Select on January 12th, and it was confirmed by Corey Graves. Actually, no, we have one more after this, my bad. Confirmed by Corey Graves in a statement to TMZ, which was reported by Fightful. So your thoughts on Corey Graves being cleared and him, I think his exact, hold on, let me see if I can find the article. I think I have it here. Oh, no, this is AJ Styles. Oh, here you go. This is from Wrestling Observer saying, it crossed my mind getting back in the ring. I went and spent some time with doctors in the middle of last year. I kind of got the itch. I think this is one of the first times I'm saying this publicly. I have been medically cleared to compete. It's not an immediate goal of mine. It was just something that I needed to know for my own sanity. My journey in the ring got cut short, and it's kind of eaten at me for years. Always wondering, what if there's a chance? What if there's an opportunity? So I went and did the necessary steps. And it turns out that I'm a little more okay than I thought I was. Never say never. It's not an immediate goal, but you can never take the wrestler out of my heart. Thoughts on Corey Graves being finally cleared to wrestle? Do you think he'll wrestle? Do you think we'll see him on storylines? What?
I think it's great. You know, someone coming back from a serious injury. Do I ever see him getting back into the ring? I do, but I don't think it's going to be like a regular schedule. I don't even think it's part-time. I think it's like a one-off match. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he had one match. I wouldn't surprise me if they worked this into Corey and Carmella, like season finale. He goes, hey,
mixed tag match against Miz and Maurice.
Mixed tag, yep, that'd be good. Corey Graves is really, really good. He's very good on commentary. For the mere fact that I don't think he should return to the ring because, you know, he was given a second chance. Like, his career was cut short, but it's basically like you're risking things like getting injured again. It could be worse.
Daniel Bryan came back, Edge came back, so
yeah, but then again, they're risking, you know, everything to do this. You know what I mean? This is just me. If I had a serious injury and I was given a second chance and I had a family, I would not risk getting back into the ring because I could injure myself even worse than before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I would love to see him have a match. He retired before I started watching NXT, so I never got to see him wrestle.
Yeah,
ever.
same.
So,
same.
You know, it is what it is. It'd be great if he did like a manager role. He's really good on commentary, so I assume he'd be good on the mic. He'd be good as a manager. So maybe he could do that. Carmella's manager. Why not, right? So have him do that.
Yeah. So 2 more things to talk about before we wrap things up. WWE confirming that the match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns is a unification match, meaning one champion, 2 shows. What are your thoughts on this? Does this mean this is the end of the brand split? I don't know. Thoughts?
Why are they doing this? I don't understand. I understand that we have Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar twice at WrestleMania.
This is actually the 7th time they're facing each other in this lifetime.
Well, WrestleMania wise.
Oh, yeah.
So they face each other before at WrestleMania. But this is going to be the best WrestleMania match ever. And for some reason, they feel like they have to raise the stakes. Why it can't just be winner take all and have it be like Becky Lynch where they carry both belts around. Why they have to unify, I don't know. I really don't understand. I mean, you and me talked about this earlier. If Brock Lesnar, I don't expect him to win at all. I really don't. But if Brock Lesnar does pull off the win, you're talking about a part-timer who now owns the world championship and it's one belt. And when he's not here, that means that world championship is not around. So it's a bad idea. They don't need to do this. For the fans out there, I understand. You know, WWE is not good, but they shouldn't end the brand split. Because if you do that, then all of your favorite wrestlers, like if you thought that Cesaro only appearing 5 times last year is bad, then all of your favorite undercards are never appearing again. You're going to see a massive amount of releases if they get rid of the brand split. So this is a bad idea. I don't know why they're doing this. They're doing this because they want Roman to be on both shows because he's a ratings grab and he's beating everyone on SmackDown. So he has to go to Raw and challenge people. But why he can't just do that with both belts? I don't understand why they had to unify the belts. You know what I mean? Becky Lynch did it. She went on both shows after WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I don't have a problem with Roman Reigns holding both belts because then it's like, okay, you have something to give him, for him to do. And when he would lose one of the belts, it would be like, well, he had to defend his title twice in one night. You know, he had a match earlier in the day, so you can't expect him to be at 100% for his second title defense of the night. But I don't like the fact that they're unifying the titles. Like you said, you hog it up basically because now Roman's not losing that title. He's not losing it, and whoever takes the belt off of Roman, it has to be a big deal. He's not losing that title. He's not anytime soon.
If you only have one belt, then only the person that Vince McMahon thinks is worthy of holding the company on their straps will be that guy. The reason why we have two belts is that people who we would never see be champion get the opportunity to be champion. If it was one belt this entire time, you really think that people like Big E or Bobby Lashley would ever be world champion? That's a huge no. It's not.
Yeah. Danny said he's saying good night. It's almost 1 a.m. here. Okay, have a great night, Danny. Yeah, exactly. So unifying the title is not the best call. Having Roman hold two belts, that's okay. But one unified title, not a good in my opinion. And you know Roman's not losing that title, and he probably won't lose it until next year because we all know Vince McMahon would probably want Roman versus The Rock to be a title match, even though that match itself does not need the title.
You know, I give an example of right now. A lot of people are saying they don't like Hangman Page's title run, right? And there are a lot of people who don't get to be going after the championship. They're saying, when is MJF going to be champion? When is CM Punk going to be champion? When is Darby Allin going to be champion, right? If they had two belts, they can make that happen because there's more opportunity for other people to become world champion if you have two belts. Now, the same thing is going to happen in WWE. You take away one of the belts, then that means only one person can hold it. And that means other people's opportunity gets taken away. So
exactly.
The example that we're giving in AEW is that they want other people to be world champion, but they can't, and they only got one belt. So right, this is not a good idea. I feel like the reason why they're doing this is because Ronda Rousey and Charlotte and Becky kind of already had this type of match. So now they have to make it a unique match. So they're saying like, oh, this is the greatest match ever because we're unifying the belts. And they make it sound like it's the first time they've ever done it, which it isn't.
Yeah.
They unified the belts before and they separated it and they did it again and they separated. So
yeah, definitely. So the last thing I want to talk about is the Pat McAfee show, which was confirmed on SmackDown. That Vince McMahon will be his special guest. Ooh, so I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this. Obviously, the questions that he's going to ask him have probably been pre-approved, so we probably won't, find out anything scandalous. Well, but what do you thought?
Well, I don't know about pre-approved because here's the thing. If you saw Vince McMahon appear, and I'm sorry for cutting you off before you even got a chance to finish, but Vince McMahon appeared on the Stone Cold Steve Austin show on the WWE Network, right? And he brought up the hard questions. He said, why did you break the streak? Why do you see that Cesaro is someone who has never been world champion? Why aren't you pushing someone like Cesaro's? And he gave an honest answer. For the streak, he said, well, if not Brock, then who else? For the Cesaro, he basically says that he felt like Cesaro didn't reach the brass ring, which is where that term came from. So, we'll see what happens. But the thing is, Pat McAfee, he's kind of a goofball. So what type of real questions is he going to ask Vince McMahon?
Do you think this might lead to an angle with Austin Theory, Vince McMahon's golden boy, second golden boy? No.
We'll see. Yeah. They've done it before. I don't know if you were watching back then, but when Adam Cole was feuding with Pat McAfee, they actually did a storyline where Adam Cole was on the show and kayfabe wise, he started berating Pat McAfee. They worked it into a storyline. So we'll see. Pat McAfee was very, very good in his one of two matches. So I'd like to see Pat McAfee step foot back in the ring. He actually did very, very well as a celebrity. He did very, very well. So
That's good. I'm impressed. So I'm curious to see where that's gonna go. I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on that. If I don't get a chance to listen to it, I do definitely want to like pick up on certain parts because I want to see, what's gonna happen on that. But that being said, I think we covered everything that happened this week in the world of wrestling.
Boy, long show, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But overall, you got nothing more to say or to tell. Do you got anything you want to plug or promote as we get ready to sign off?
No, I'm still working on my channel. It's been a while. I was supposed to actually relaunch. You know this. I was supposed to relaunch back in December, do something with Spider-Man. It never came into because I was waiting to get all of these certain equipment, and then I was supposed to relaunch in January. But you know this, I kind of had some minor health issues going on, and so I'm trying my best. But this is the problems with people like you and me. We both have lives outside of our channel. We both work very long hours on our personal jobs. So when I get home, I'm very, very tired. But thank you so much for having me on your show.
Of course.
Your show's like one of the highlights of my day. Yes. So yeah.
Even if it tortures you.
No, I mean.
No, I mean watching wrestling. Smackdown in particular.
Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Thank you. I can't imagine my life if AEW was not around because NXT now sucks. NXT now sucks. I'd be like, well, that's it. There's no other show. That's it. This is my life. Wrestling sucks now.
So is Michael Chow 2.0 going to be run by Bruce Pritchard? Or
well, that'd be nice because then there'd be more hot chicks on my show, and more boobs, more butts. So yeah, no, I'm not kidding. That's you haven't seen it, but seriously, NXT is filled with nothing but boobs and butts. Like my goodness, I'm very happy for Mandy Rose as champion, but that's all she does, and it's a real shame because on the main roster, Mandy Rose was doing so much better, but now it's just Mandy Rose. She's good looking. Here's her boob. Here's her butt. That's it. That's all they do.
Well, when we watch NXT together, I will give you my honest opinions on what I think about NXT.
You'll be shocked. My goodness. Bruce
You're going to make me work on a Tuesday.
Yep.
On my day off. It's okay. It's okay. For you, I'll willing to work on Tuesday.
Okay.
As for myself, thank you guys all so much for watching. I know we had a long show. I was trying to do something new with this whole news thing. Good. Total News segment. I might change the name because Total News belongs to Michael. Thank you for letting me borrow it. And if you guys are a fan of Power Rangers, I also do Power Rangers on this channel. I recently released episode 3 of Legacy of Power, where I talk about romance in Power Rangers. Thank you guys all so much for your continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys on Monday after Monday Night Raw. Have a great rest of your night. Bye.